Welcome to Tales from the Casino Pit. This is a podcast where we share stories with people from the casino industry. Now, here's your cast, John, Mike, Danielle, Michelle, Pippa, and Jay.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the Tales from the Casino Pit podcast. My name is Jay, and our cast today is comprised of, well, let's start with hello.
Hi, it's all day Dani here. Happy Wednesday. What happens in Vegas doesn't stay there.
As well as Dani, we have
Michelle. Hi, everyone. Nice to be here. Enjoyed the lovely weather in Edmonton the last couple days. What happened in Vegas, Dani?
It gets shared on a Tales of a Casino Pit podcast. Is what happened.
And as well as Dani and Michelle, we have
Hi, it's Mike. Glad to be here. I have absolutely no Vegas stories, so I'm interested in hearing yours.
Yeah, right. And my name is Jay. Welcome to the channel. We're streaming over Facebook. Hello, everybody on Facebook, the Casino Industry Canada group, and of course, my beloved Casino Dealer Jay YouTube channel. Hello, everybody. Thank you to the new subscribers that subscribed. You guys are amazing, good looking, and all of that jazz. And what is going on? Why are you laughing? What's so funny?
I just love when you say you are good looking.
Yeah, well, they are good looking. You guys are amazing, we are streaming on, we're streaming on these channels, but then for those of you listening on the podcast, we are always on iTunes and Spotify, so you can find the previous episodes there, including this one. Coming soon to you. We've just put out the first 2 episodes. I'll be putting out the next 2 episodes here right away. A little sporadic with our posting, but that's okay. If you guys want the real live raw stuff, then just come onto the channel and you will see it. All right. So look at this fantastic foursome that I have with me today. Some amazing people. Miss Dani, Miss 2-Trip Dani.
Yeah.
How about a couple updates? Yeah. How are things with you?
Things are pretty good. Yeah, I've been gone for like 20 days out of the last 2 months. It's been a while. You guys are expecting these like extravagant stories from Vegas. I really did like barely anything. I played like maybe an hour and a half of Pai Gow, and it was interesting. I will say that.
Where did you play Pai Gow?
What are the ones that have it? I might have been lightly drinking. What was it called? It was in Paris because we walked by Paris, but the minimum was like 100. And then they told me that this other one, like a little bit further down the strip past Flamingo, has like $25 one. So I went there.
Wasn't Harrah's, was it?
Yeah, it was Harrah's.
Harrah's.
Harrah's always had tiles. I haven't been
clicks.
there for like 10 years, but like Harrah's had
clicks.
cheap tiles for the strip when we went.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
They
they do things different. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, tell me what's different. What?
So the people I was playing with, like a bunch of strangers, like they bank like every second hand, and you, even though you weren't playing on their square, you can bank on their square for the amount that you were playing on your own square.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
yeah.
So co-banking, yeah.
Yeah, which I didn't know about that. I've never been there. And then also when you're cutting, they just give you all the tiles. They're like, you do it. I don't want to do it. They're just like, you cut. So I'm like, okay, let me touch the tiles, I guess. It was very strange to me. Yeah. Yeah. They're I didn't find the dealers to be like extravagant in any way. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's some better dealers here. Oops. Oh well. Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike. I think you have some comments here.
I was just gonna say I've been to Vegas 4 times, and over the span of probably 12 or 14 years, every time I was in Vegas, I've played Pai Gow at Harrah's, and every time we had a dealer named Nabil, and he was awesome. I just want to say that he wasn't extravagant or anything, but he was awesome. He loved us, so I hope you ran into him.
No.
No,
I did not.
Hilarious.
I did not.
Just a quick comment. Sorry before we move on. Hello, Joey. Hello. Hardcore Joey, still awake at this unholy hour. You are in. Where are you? Brisbane? No, not Brisbane. You gotta tell me where you are, Joey. It's in England. I
It
forgot.
has to be overseas if it's an unholy
saying
hour.
Brisbane.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
It's 8:30 p.m. here, so
John knows where you are. I haven't seen you for a while. It's nice to see you again, Joey.
Yeah, welcome back, Joey. How's it going?
Yeah. So Danny, you took the plane flight and you ended up there in Vegas and you stayed at Bally's. Was it Bally's?
Yeah, I stayed at Bally's. Yeah.
That's cool. Were they going? They were
Yeah.
going through some renos, weren't they?
I didn't notice any. Yeah, I didn't notice any, but honestly, I was there for like only 2 nights. I just went to go see like one show, and I had to make sure I went and checked out like the Pai Gow tables. But there was just like, it was a lot of people there because it's WSOP season, so I'm sure it's crowded all times, but I feel like it was extra crowded this time.
was
of
it really
year.
hot? Was it hot there? I mean, it's July.
Yeah, it was like 35.
Yeah, that's actually that's probably average at best. It gets up to
Yeah.
pretty hot
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, maybe more than that, but like I don't know. I spent like a couple hours at like the pools every day, which are very far away. But it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, they put the losing money part closer than the relaxing at the pool part.
For sure. Walk through like 4 different casinos just to get to the pool.
What show did you go see?
I saw RuPaul's Drag Race live.
Oh, nice.
It was honestly like a dream come true for me. I am obsessed. I've seen like every episode of that show more than once. And all the Untucks and Drag You. Yeah, it was amazing. So good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I would see it again.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, I should have brought my cup. I bought one of those like souvenir cups. I spent $44 on any drink I wanted plus the cup. USD. It's insane.
Hey, was it one of these? Las Vegas was so expensive, I could only afford half a cup.
That's hilarious. No, but I really like that.
That's okay. I got 2. You can have one then when you drop by in Edmonton here.
That's hilarious. I like that.
Those are awesome.
Yeah. Anyways, Michelle, your first trip to Vegas was who was it with?
My first trip to Vegas was with Guaylobo over there, Mike, and Sterling and Lars. Mike and I were 22. Lars is a bit older. I think Sterling was just 21, like just.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we drove. So the 4 of us drove. We took turns driving. I think Lars drove between there and back. I think he drove about 75% of the driving, even though there was 4 of us. And probably one of the funniest parts not in Vegas was when we were crossing the border. Lars and I were in the front seat. He was driving, ask a couple questions at the border, and then the agent says to Lars, he says, "How old are the two kids in the back seat?" And those two kids were Mike and Sterling. So that was pretty funny.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
So, did you go through your? Did the two of you do your not pie gow? Did you do your craps training already at the time, or was it before you learned craps?
No, it was after I had learned craps. They definitely all had learned. I think I did it was Sterling in the first class?
You were in the
No.
same class.
Yeah, I thought Sterling was in my class.
Because I trained the two of you, and
Okay.
the greatest debate was always who the better dealer was between the two of you.
Yeah, he would definitely
Because-
be better at stick than me. For sure. I'm not. That's definitely not my strength. We were probably back and forth on base. Yeah. So when was that? So I was 22, which would be 2001. It would have been
Yeah.
shortly after. Well, I was on mat leave until the beginning of 2000. I would have taken, I think it was sometime in 2000 we learned craps, and then we went to Vegas in 2001.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. We had learned it, but I don't think we'd been dealing it forever yet.
Yeah, well, going in your 20s. Yeah, Mike, how was your first experience?
Wow, my first experience was a little different.
Yeah, so just before you start, so Mike and I went when we were 22, but that was not Mike's first time there.
Right.
He went one time before.
Yeah, we took a flight down. It was myself, Jay, and Marvin, and there are no pictures from that trip, and it was completely uneventful.
Thank goodness for no social media in
the
early 2000s.
That yeah, no, it was. We stayed at the Imperial Palace. We toured, I think, every casino on the strip, right?
We tried. Yeah, we tried.
I mean, most the big ones, anyways, for sure. Yeah, we all got chips from there. We played a lot of pie go at Harrah's. We where was it? It was at the Mirage, Jay. You had your awesome dealer experience, your awesome blackjack experience.
No, that was at Treasure Island, actually.
Treasure Island. That's what I meant. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, we ended up going to play craps first, and the first time that we played craps there, we were involved in the game, and we were trying to make some two-way bets, and it's the first time that I came across a dealer that didn't really say thank you. He just took the bet, and even when it won, he's just like, yeah, 15 for us, keep it up. And didn't even say thanks. I was like, wow, you guys are jerks. So we ended up leaving and started playing blackjack, and then we started playing this hand, and the dealer had a bus card. So Mike and I are sitting there, and we're just the two people playing. It was like a $5 table or something at the time. Anyways, I get 16, and I do this, right? He gives me a card, and I bust. And then he goes, sorry. Hold on one sec. Baby monitor. See, I'm on baby duty here.
You had a kid under the table.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that was one of them. One of them. I had two. I don't know where they are right now. So okay. Let's go back. We're playing blackjack, and I have 16. I wave. The dealer gives me a card, and I bust. And then the dealer plays, and the dealer would have busted. He sweeps up the cards, and he's looking at me, and he's just like, "What? Were you a little scared there or something?" It's the first time somebody ever said that to me, and I'm like, what? And I was like so mad. I was getting mad. I'm like, let's go, because I'm getting so pissed off, and I was gonna say something. I've never had anybody like talk like that, and I'm 21, so I'm just a little punk. But when someone the dealer said that to me, I was just like, what? And the way he dealt too just made me so mad. I still remember, because they had the shoe and it had this plastic cover. So you'd have to pull it up and pull the card out, right? So it's like he's making this noise, and he's like so clunky, and it's like, ugh, man, this guy sucks. That's what I was thinking in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Treasure Island was not one of my favorite casinos when we went there. Definitely.
Say the least.
I mean, I was playing for the dealer too when I was there at Harrah's, and there was like no recognition about it either.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, at least I had a good time with the random people I was playing with. So, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Just for the record, I do love Treasure Island now because we did our $20 sandwich thing where we would tip the person at the front and they would upgrade our room. So we had a nice suite the last time we went there. So it was nice.
Nice.
2 bathrooms for 2 of
Yeah.
us. I was like,
Oh,
what?
another, like, it was like a side bet, but I've never seen the fire and ice bet before on Pygo.
Oh, what is that bet?
It's you can play it on Pygo, and so fire, if you get like all red tiles, it's like a huge payout. I think it's in the thousands, to a couple thousand to one. And then there's the all white as well, so fire and ice. Yeah, I thought that was interesting as well. I didn't play it, but I got it twice, the ice one, which is all white, but I didn't play it. So
okay, well, we need to look at that because that's
right, interesting.
That's pretty interesting.
Very.
When I play Pygow tiles, it's always at the MGM. That's my favorite place because that's the first place that I ended up getting all these comps and everything just from playing. I played $100 a hand and I bet 5 for the dealer, and I gave the dealer 2 tiles and I just tried to go as slow as I can just so that my bet rate was so high for the hour. And I would like, push, please push, because I didn't have any money for this, right? I was just like, I just needed the comps. So, and it paid off and it was really cool. The second time that I went to MGM, well, it wasn't the second time, but it was my stag and I ended up going. I went there and I didn't win a single hand the whole time. And I went there just with my friend Tony, right? We kind of ditched everybody that day and I'm like, I need to play. So I started playing and I seriously did not win a hand. I'm like, this is the most ridiculous thing that's ever happened to me. And I had a bow and it was a push. And you're like, oh my God, these days are like the worst. And it's, how could this happen to me this day just coming here to Vegas? So yeah, I've had some crazy stories. Like I got G June Teen Bow. I had the ultimate hand there at the MGM. They're like, oh my God, look at this, the ultimate hand. I'm like, I'm getting all excited. I'm like, what's going on? It's like, you know what? At MGM, you used to get $5,000 for that. And I'm like, $5,000? Oh my God, what do I get now? They're like, nothing. Like, oh, great. Why do you have to like hype it up like that? Like it's such a big deal. I didn't even get anything. It's like, can you get him some Starbucks? And I'm like, no, I don't need anything. I just it's like, thank you. So sorry, before we move on, Joey says, hello Joey, Barnsley, South Yorkshire. Yeah, I knew that. I just can't remember that. So I'm really good, thank you. Hope you're all well. My new job is brilliant. Steward of the local village club, trying to bring more gambling in as a private members club. Ooh.
Ooh.
Fancy. Joy has an amazing collection of tables. He has a bunch of table games. They're really, really nice. I'll have to put some pictures up of your setup there because it's really cool. He does love tiles, so it's really awesome to see that. I wanted to show one picture before we move on. Mr. Mike, I think you're going to remember this picture. All right, you ready? Bang. Look at that.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, what babies.
I know.
Holy.
So that's us at 21. And there's the Imperial Palace behind us.
Yep.
And that's Harrah's behind me there. Yeah, that's quite a long time ago. I remember looking over the alleyway and there was a bunch of rats and it's like, wow, there's rats here. This is crazy. And the rats are as big as dogs. And like, oh, boy.
Holy.
How was I wearing a jersey in Vegas? That's insane.
What is that jersey? Is that like
I was wearing a jersey. When did we went
Washington, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Good eye.
That is an old Washington one.
I
We
didn't actually
went-
recognize that logo. It's the first logo that made sense that it was Washington.
Yeah.
We
What were you
went
saying, Mike?
in. When did we go? We went in March.
I thought that it was sometime in the spring because it was really hot. It was the first time that we went outside and it was just blazing hot. It felt like someone was slapping your arm when you went out. Like that's how hot it was.
Yeah,
So
I
it must
remember
have
that, and
been.
I don't know why we're wearing jackets and a sweater, and like I don't know.
Look at this. You're wearing a sweater.
I know. I
and a
don't like.
jacket.
Did we like? Did we just get off the plane and check in? Was it hot? Was it cold in Edmonton? I'm because I remember it being really hot there when we went. Like I remember it being scorching hot, and I don't know why I'm wearing that.
I
I did
can't.
not even notice that. That's pretty funny.
I'm sure we got in the evening, yeah, and we were still wearing that coming in. But it was
Probably.
really, really funny. There's so many stories to that trip. It was really, really bad. I busted out. And I think there's 2 days left in the trip, and I had no money whatsoever. So it really was like not fun for me. At the very end, I think the last day we didn't even do anything. I think we sat in the party tent at Harrah's and we just listened to music. So I said,
I feel like I remembered hearing stories about your guys' trip even before you got home. Like, like so and so lost all their money the first day or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it was like a legendary trip.
It could be. We didn't come back with much money. We did do shopping. We went to Bell's, right?
we did, yes.
Professionally, we did do some shopping. We went to one show.
Well, that's better than we did. We did not go to any shows.
Shows involved ladies.
Well,
and you
that's
had
not
to pay
true.
the money.
We
So
kind of went to a show, I guess. Not a show you pay tickets.
that's the same show we went to and with Jay.
Oh, okay.
Yes, same place too. And it was funny. So, like, we went to Crazy Horse 2. And the first time I was ever at a strip club outside of Edmonton, obviously. And Jay, Marvin, and I walk in, and this girl comes up and she's like, "Hi, how are you guys?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm good. Can I get 2 buds and a Ryan Coke?" She's like, "What? Can I get 2 buds and a Ryan Coke?" She's like, "Excuse me?" I'm like, "Fuck, am I not speaking English?" She's, 2 buds and a Ryan Coke. I'm starting to get upset. And she's like, "I'm not a waitress." I'm like, oh. Then, sorry. 1 dance, please. Thanks.
I was standing beside him when he said that. I just turned around and walked. I'm like, okay, yeah.
Whoops.
You're like, I don't know what's going down here, but I don't want to be here when we figure it out.
I don't know him.
Oh, we were so green. We got taken advantage of so much. First time we played, it was at Imperial Palace. It was a $3 table, and I think we bought in for like $40, and we're just betting $3 on the inside, things like that, and we still lost. And at the very end, I think we had like $1, and we're dealers, right? We're like, well, what can we do with this? We sounded so dumb. It's like, well, what can we do with this dollar? It's like, just put it on the line. Like, okay. So then put it on the line. And it's like $1 for the dealers. And then it was like a 7 winner. It's like, thank you. And they didn't even like look at us after that. And we're just like,
yeah.
I think it's time for us to go. That seriously, Mike, I went 4 times 1 year when I first became single, like about 10 years ago or whatever. And I don't even remember those trips. I remember that first trip like vividly. I know the casinos we went to. We went to Excalibur. We went to Luxor. We went to Mandalay Bay. We went to all of these casinos. I got a parlayed yo at Venetian.
Yeah.
And we ended up getting, the only thing that I remember getting were the player cards, and we just kept signing up and we kept going and we kept getting all of these cards. And I still remember like the photos and like, even the shopping and stuff, even though I didn't really have a lot of money. I spent $700 at the strip club, and that's why I had no money because yeah, and I will admit it now on this podcast, but that was the most embarrassing thing to admit years and years ago when I was like this single punk. So that's why it wasn't losing at the casino, because I think when you and Marvin went upstairs, I just went on this run right when we got back from that place, and I ended up getting my money back, and then I busted out after that. So it was really, it was that
What
that
a roller
ruined it for
coaster
me.
ride.
Yeah, yeah. What was her name?
Oh no, let's not.
Okay, okay.
What what other skeletons can I unearth here? Yes, I did date a stripper for 4 months, and then from the 4 times I went, that's 2 of the reasons. Like 2 times I went was the reason. That's the reason why, because I ended up hanging out with this person. Hi, Heather. And we ended up talking, and of course, like, I was newly single, Mike. Yeah, I think I was.
Yeah.
And then we ended up talking, and she convinced me to fly back there a couple months later. But the 2 months that we ended up talking, I had the best provider, which was Rogers, not tell me anything about, texting or calling. And I got back-to-back bills that were over $400. Phone bills, $400. Like no alert or anything. It's just like, hey, in the mail, $400. There you go. I'm like, wow, you guys are jerks.
Guys, give me 1 second. I'll be right back, okay?
Yeah, let's boot you, Mike. Anyways, I'm sorry for. Oh my god, there's so many things that I've talked about this season which I didn't ever mean to talk about, like the condom story. That's coming in the next episode for those of you that are just it's episode 3 for those of you that want to hear about that one, which is kind of funny, but yeah. Anyways, let's talk just a couple more comments here. We have Joey saying, with the steward of the local village club, lots of red tape to get through first, but managed to up our limit license to 500 from 100, so our gaming machines get some hammer and bingos now play 3 times a week. Wow. Trying to get a weekly poker game, which is really cool. That's nice. And Facebook user says that's a lot of drinks at this strip club, Jay. Yes.
Your story, you're sticking to it.
Yeah. Thank you. I got so hammered at the strip club. Yeah.
I think that's the only place we actually paid for drinks when we went to Vegas was at the strip club.
Do you know what what I love about it is just the fact that you can get a chip from every casino. And that's the thing that we started doing, and I still had those chips. I kept them for a long time before I sold them, but that was the whole point of going to each casino. And it was just, how am I going to get a dollar chip, right? I'm going to have to play something. So a lot of the time we'd buy on craps for like $20 and we'd bet a 6 and 8 and just pray that we could get something and then move on. And a lot of the time it didn't happen, and you get stuck, and then you'd be like, okay, here's the other $80. Let's buy in for 100 and try to get your $20 back. And it never happened. Right. So
you end up paying like $20 for each dollar chip.
Yeah, pretty much. You're in for like 100 and you have your dollar chip and you leave. It's like, thank you for that. That's really great.
Yeah, I had a bunch too. I think I had about, I don't know, 30 or 40. There were some non-Vegas ones in there. Like my brother worked at Casino Regina for like 6 months, and I went to see him, so I have one from there. But they're mostly strip, and they're probably all from the 2000s, mostly, or I guess early to mid 2000s. But they're fun to collect. I still have them. I almost got rid of them. Like when we sold our house, we were decluttering everything.
Mhm.
But I was like, yeah, I'll just throw them in here with all my other poker chips for now.
No, that's cool. I actually have something to show you. That comment though, hello Joe. That's who that is. Hi Joe.
Yeah, Mike missed that one.
Joey also says, I wish I could get Pai Gow in there, but there's more chance of a snowball in hell than that happening. Well, it's a acquired taste, Pai Gow tiles. I'll
It's
say
a
that.
tougher game too, house-wise, right? If you're just starting out, it's just there's a lot of pushes, right? So it's a slower game. Plus, just lesser known. I guess it would depend on your area and how many people would know it. Because then you got to teach people the game all the time, and that's tougher.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the saddest part too, is like I just feel like it's gonna maybe die out at some point. Like, how many people do I try to like teach when I'm dealing, and then never see them again? Even if they win, like if they play a couple hands and then they win, then they just walk away because they don't know it. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's not an easy game to learn right away. You can't learn at the table. It takes a while. It takes a long time. And I think that's one of the toughest games to actually teach a player, because it's so unlike anything else, right? Craps is hard. It's all around math and everything, but Pai Gow, you have to explain, okay, the names of the tiles, the rankings, how to split them, what are pairs, what
and some of these pairs don't look like the other.
Yeah, you're like
right?
so,
Yeah.
and then you have to like try to explain, okay, yeah, so you add the tiles together, drop the first number, but then also if you have a teen or day tile, it goes with a 7, 8, or 9, even though if it goes with an 8 or a 9, that's 0 or 1, but it's not 0 or 1, it's actually gong or wong, and they're like, wait, what? Slow down.
Yeah.
So
and those 5s that don't look alike, that's a pair, but those 6s that don't look alike, that's not a pair.
Yeah.
So just to be clear.
Oh, we got a lot here. Joy says, I think I'm the only one in the UK who knows I've never seen it here in the UK. Yes, I believe you. I think you're the only person that I know that can deal tiles. Well, John, if John never goes around that area, right? So, but he's here. So,
did John deal tiles, or does he
no,
just know?
He learned it. I think he sat in on it actually.
Probably just so he could be a pit boss in that area if he needed to be. Yeah.
It was really funny though, because he would always say his exceptions as dice. He would always relate it. So he's
it's
like
a hard 5.
Yeah.
What?
What was that one exception?
That too. Like if somebody gets like an 11 on like blackjack, I always say yo 11.
Well, he has like the 7 Yun Mui and the 11, right? So he's just like, oh yeah, it's just a 7, a hard 8, a hard 10, and a yo. That's the exception, right? And I'm like, what? No. But you always like switch the tiles over, and he'd be like, yeah, a Yun is a hard 8. I'm like, okay, all right,
makes sense.
Yeah, it does. To him, it makes sense. So it's like, to all of us, we're like, huh? Oh, hello, Daryl.
Yay, Daryl.
Life alert, made it. I think you get a free coupon. You free coupon for your 10th visit. Excellent.
He definitely has 10 visits, but consecutive.
He was actually supposed to be on. I know he got a little under the weather there. So hopefully we can get you on in August. I know you're a busy guy, so it'd be nice to have you on for your second time. And as well as Daryl, we have Vince. Hello, Vince from the East Coast. Vince says, I saw a couple dealers at a closed roulette table sorting a ton of chips. I'm assuming cash chips. They told me they were tips. How are they split between all the dealers? Who'd like to answer this, tip committee?
Well, my place does it every 2 days, divided by how many hours there are total, and then you add up how many hours each dealer has. Makes sense? Yeah. The total hours worked times how many hours each individual dealer worked within the 2 days.
Yeah, so it's split between all the dealers, and it's done every second day. I think there's some casinos that have switched, like doing
some
it
weekly or daily,
but it is split between all the dealers that at least work that day, if not other days around that day.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's what all the casinos do. Even in Vegas, I don't see them doing it any differently, unless they add it onto checks or anything. But yeah, add them all up, divided hours, get an hourly rate, and put it
Well,
in
I
an
think
envelope.
so well, in Edmonton anyway, after hours poker, like we've talked about this before, it's split only amongst the dealers that deal in those hours where only the poker room is open. They do that daily.
Yeah, same.
Typically
The
it's
graveyard
done
tip.
it's done at the end of the shift, and then it's done.
Yeah.
But even the exception in Vegas, I think most places poker dealers keep their own tips. Like I encountered a lot of poker deals when we did those few like 1 week cruises with card player cruises. And as far as I recall, there's like some states where they share, but I think in Vegas, I don't know now, but that was a long time ago. But in Vegas, I think they keep their own tips. They were surprised that we shared. Like that seemed really foreign to them back then.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it's usually done at specific times. So you would have some dealers come around to the pit and they would grab the tips. This is for pooled. Sorry, not talking about the poker tips. The poker tips, yeah, definitely what Michelle said. But for the example that you saw, Vince, yeah, it would just be maybe that's like the first pickup. It really depends on how they schedule it, but that's why you would get a whole ton of chips. Or it's from the poker room. So if you have poker room days, then they would pool it, which
Yeah.
is yeah.
We have like 2 boxes. One, like you just like they walk around and then they pick up and they put it into like a locked box. And then at the end of the day, they cash it at the cash cage. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember the first time I ever dealt for my own tips on those poker cruises. And it was just weird because they don't have boxes or anything because it's temporary poker room, right? So your uniform has a pocket, like a polo shirt or whatever, like just a pocket. That's where you put your tips. So you your tapes and you like put them in your chest pocket, and it's like, this is weird. My hand doesn't want to let me do this.
Right.
No, it's so true. And if you're doing really good, you're gonna have like this unsightly bulge. So it's just like Total Recall where you have like 3 boobs and it's like
It's
okay.
true. Like it didn't happen often, but there were times where like the pocket is practically sitting on the table because you're at a table with a bunch of really good tippers. Like some guy like rolls $15 and ones at you. And you're like, okay, I guess that goes in my pocket.
Yeah. I love those. I'm shipping out a pot and like the guy keeps like giving me dollars and like fives and it's like, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Every single time it's like, okay. So Daryl says the 2 days based on the charity contract with the casino. Yes, here in Alberta we have 2-day events, and you require a licensed charity, in order to operate at the casinos here, and they get a portion of the revenue. So
Yeah.
that's why we're so small. We're not small.
Yeah, I mentioned that in like I think the first time I was ever on the podcast that's how I got into the industry, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was volunteering and working in the cash cage.
Mm.
Yeah.
I don't know if I heard that story. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was could you mind saying what the group was? I'm just curious.
Oh, I was volunteering for Alberta snowboarding. My brother,
Okay.
yeah, he did snowboarding there. But my family did it before that as well for me when I was swimming competitively.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
That is awesome. And look at you now. All games, all day, Danny. Look at that.
Yeah.
Sorry, there was a comment that I needed to address, and I want to say hello to this person. I can't say your name. Sluga. She says, or he, or yeah, says, great video for people that's learning Pygao. So I did do a Pygao tiles dealer practice for the channel.
Oh,
Been
fun.
dealing, yeah, it was a start. It was really cool I think I got to 7 videos and I just took a break after that because there's so many variations after that. If I talk about deliveries, I mean, we have 5 deliveries in our city. Vancouver has 8. Australia has 15. there's all these different variations of tile deliveries, which is kind of crazy, but I'd like to compile all of them before I start doing a video, because one person's gonna be like, "Hey, you missed Hong Kong bank delivery," and I was like, "Yeah, okay, great. You missed 72 of these exceptions that we have," and it's like, okay, you know. So there's always like this variation. So it's not really. That's why I would never do a blackjack video, because it's like, okay, so you can deal blackjack with a whole card or no whole card, with 1 deck, 2 decks, 4 decks, 8 decks. You can have a auto shuffler, or just one that shuffles the decks for you, or a continuous one. So it's like, okay, yeah, when my video is done, it's gonna be like 5 hours, because there's all these different variations of it. So
Well, for
anyways.
the delivery one, you do the video. Sorry, Danny.
Yeah.
No, continue.
I was just saying, for the delivery, you just do the video and say, what did I miss? We'll do a follow-up video.
All the comments.
With all
No.
the ones I missed.
No, that's not why I do that. I'm not doing them for follow-up videos. So it's like, no.
It's for engagement, Jay.
No. Rather be single than engaged in that example. So all right. Just one more thing with the Pygal tiles. I can totally relate to this. Been dealing this game for over 10 years day in, day out. Effed up my shoulders in the process. LOL. Yeah, LOL. It's funny when we look back at it, because it's so true. I went back to Yellowhead and I started dealing Pygal tiles, and they had 2 tile tables. So you're back to back, and the chair, in all honesty, needed to be better than the one it was there, because the tables were old Baccarat tables, so they retrofitted. They put the tiles felt on it. So whoever puts it on needs to understand like distance, right? When it's too far away, you are like reaching out, and if you can't even sit on the edge of your chair and like hit it, that really sucks. So me not being 20 anymore, I had to like sit back every single hand and like lean back, because my back was like starting to feel it.
Yeah.
And my
Whenever
arms.
I always stretch out whenever they're setting up their hands. We have 3 tile tables now.
Wow.
So
That's cool, actually. I do love having like those games there. And as long as you have that cycle, then at least we know that there's a place that you can go play. Because when I went there, I think there's 2 places. And I wasn't back yet at Pure. So I actually went to Calgary and I played a hand, which I lost. I lost $100 in one hand because I was just leaving the city. So that was really, really exciting. It was so nice. I think I had 3-4 too. And the dealer had like an 8-9 or something, like destroyed me. So I stood up and I just put my hands in my pocket and I kind of went to the car and started driving home. Didn't even think about it.
Good story.
Yeah. I have so many losing stories that are so amazing. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's not what this video's about. Gerald says, do the video, tell them to leave a comment, then never check the comments. That's a great way of managing it. Yeah. Also, which is really cool, Dani, if ever, when you come here, we're going to take you over to Grand Villa, because that is opening this week, which is really, really good. I think it's well deserved for the people that stuck with that place, because they have had, I don't want to say the worst luck, but working at Baccarat was not fun. Well, for me, it was fun. I loved it. I love the people there. They're amazing, but they always got the short end of the stick. They had the casino that needed the most renovations, the most work. And then they had this amazing, beautiful casino come out, and there was some problems with it. The Oilers weren't doing good, so they weren't getting any of the revenue, and it really sucked. I felt bad. And now finally they're going to reopen, and I love the people that are there, like the management. I love the management there because I got to work with them when I was human resources. So, and they're really cool people, right?
Yeah.
And I still have so much respect for them. So
what did they do in the meantime? Like, did they have employees since they've been closed?
yeah. And well,
No,
Okay.
well, yeah, they had like a few,
Yeah,
but no, most people were laid off.
it's been a long time since
Yeah, a long time.
casinos have been open.
They open on Monday, right?
Mhm.
Monday, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we
Strange.
need to.
happen.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure. Maybe they have. Well, I have no idea what's going on there in that area. If they're having concerts or anything, I mean, they should be having concerts, right? It's an amazing venue, and I think they're going
Yeah,
through some rentals.
there's lots of events that go on there. You know, I don't know all the ins and outs of what worked and what didn't work with the whole Grand Villa, you know, but I always thought not having that parking lot was going to be
Mm.
an issue. Like I said from day one, I was like, what? They're not. I'm like, that's going to be a huge problem. But again,
Yeah,
I don't know what if that was a significant part of it. Like, who knows? I don't know for a fact.
Well,
But
here's my. I'll have to agree with you there. Here's my gripe about that casino and the fact that we go to Vancouver and we go to Edgewater. You go to Edgewater, you got to pay for parking.
yeah.
Totally get it. You're
That's
downtown.
Vancouver, though.
Exactly.
It's different.
Hmm.
Not to mention there was a casino there before that had a huge parking lot,
Yes.
right? Like if you're expecting your whole client base to come over there, look at how many cars were in that lot every day. Like that's a hard part. Edmonton hasn't like, yeah, you go downtown, you expect to pay for parking, but at the same time, it's not
Not at a
quite
casino.
Vancouver or Toronto, right? Like it's these people still expected to be able to park there to go to the casino.
I mean, I bit the bullet.
Options, you know. There's so many other options.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You're absolutely right, Danny. Because
That's also key for sure.
yeah, I can drive to Yellowhead or I could drive to Century. They're about the same distance apart from each other, and it's not too hard for me to get there. The thing that like I bit the bullet because it was $15. That's how much it was when that place first opens. $15 to go underneath and then just take the elevator up a couple floors and there you are, right? That was a bet for me, and I was like, you know, but any regular person knowing like your regulars used to go there, and you guys are right. Like Michelle, we had a huge lot when I was there. It was free,
Yes.
and then they ended up renting out like the second half of it because as I worked like 9 to 5 because I was human resources, so I would always look out my office and then I would see people. I'm like, why is this lot so busy? Because people would park there that work downtown, and then they would cut in the side door and then go out the north door. So because we were watching a surveillance, it's like, what the hell is going on? This place isn't even busy. They come in and they cut out the north and then they go to work because it's free parking.
It would be
So-
hard to have a free parking lot downtown too. I will admit that as
Exactly.
well.
So there were people that were taking advantage of it. So I see why they did it, but still, if I'm a regular player that always went there, you should really at least address it, right? It's like if you're not doing it anymore, which is cool, it's like, yeah, we're not doing $15 parking, then that's fine. But just let
Mhm.
everybody know, right?
Mhm.
But that was really hard to like. I didn't want to spend $15 every single time I went there, right? It was hard for me. And and I love Paigao, so I would go there and I'd play tiles, and we would watch. I think I went there to watch a couple games, and that was it, right? And my friend Natasha, she was working there, and a bunch of the other old staff were still there, so I got to like say hi. And the pit managers and games managers were amazing, so like it was worth it. But for me to consistently go, like, no, I can't do
That's
it.
the other thing too, when you talk about going consistently, even talking about Edgewater, I still think Vancouver, is different than downtown Edmonton. But when you go to Edgewater, you're going there on a trip, right? Like if
Mhm.
you go to the casino once or twice a year, the $15 parking is not as big of a deal as if you're a regular, right? And casinos need those regulars, right? They make a big part of their revenue. So it's the regulars that are going to have a hard time with $15 parking. The people that
Well,
are going out for a night, yeah, like they might not like it, but it's not as big of a deal.
But I also mean though, like, I know that like if you've been to Cowboys, they have like dual underground parking there. So like if I know that like they gave the high limit players like a special card and it was gated. So you just went in, if you were like a regular there, you would just swipe your card and you got to go up to the upper parking. So I mean,
Yeah.
there has to be some sort of way that they could figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they They did have that with some of the parking at Rogers Place. They have an underground parking there where it's carded, and they gave some out to Highland players, and
Yeah, as they
uh,
should.
but there's not a lot of parking there.
Mhm.
Even underground, there's not a lot of parking. Well, they're missing a parkade, right? Like, I mean, that old Baccarat site needs to be demolished and a parkade put up there. Downtown needs more parking anyways, right? And
Mm.
maybe you do start getting a card for players, even casual players, right? Here's a card. As long as you come in casually and you can find a space, then it's free parking, right? I mean, some people are going to take advantage of it, yeah, but I think that's the price you're willing to pay for the amount of people that you'll actually get in
Yeah,
to
Mhm.
go there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
even just having something gated or parkade like, you're still going to
Yeah.
deter a lot of those people taking advantage, right? That Baccarat lot was just a lot you drove into with no one monitoring it. Maybe later someone was monitoring, but I never saw anybody monitoring that lot. So
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Wow, that's a lot of talk about downtown casinos. That's amazing.
let's go back to Daryl's question. We didn't answer it. It was a good question.
What
Okay.
was that?
You had it up there, but then we were talking too much.
Oh, any tables there?
I think so.
I hope so.
I didn't even question that there would be until he asked that question. I was like,
Yeah.
maybe there isn't tables.
Me too. I really hope there is, because they had a short craps table, which was funny because you'd have to like stand sideways in order to get it busy. But I still loved it. It was really cool. But it was Paigao tiles. I really like to go there and play tiles and have a drink and be downtown, you know. So I'm hoping that they do have it, and the staff that are there, like I'm hoping that they're still there and they come back. So, and sorry, I did want to ask. I did have one question for all of you. All right. So let me just open here, because I'm a thrifter, you know, so I find stuff when I thrift. I find really cool stuff. I find casino stuff. And I went to one of the thrift stores here, and guess what I found? I found Palace Casino chips. Now, this series, I'll have to ask the two of you that work there which series this was. If it was the ones that were before when we started, because there are pink ones after, right?
I used those to practice before I started because my mom worked there, right? So they were decommissioned. So she, either her or Lee's, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I remember the ones vividly because I used those to practice before I tested.
Yeah, so I think they were out there when we had $1 limits and things like that. So I think I was playing with those ones before I started working at the casino. Anyways, it was $30. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, do I really? Someone dropped these off there, and I'm like, I can't just leave them. I need to take them, and they're in good condition too. So I'm like, who had these to begin with?
Brand new. Where did you see this?
This is one of the thrift stores here in the city.
Oh,
there's my receipt, just to say that, you know, I just don't want the Palace or the Gateway people thinking that I kept these from my training time.
Those are nice chips. Those are nice chips, like for poker or video. Or if you're gonna use them for videos, yeah, they're good.
I have them right here, and I'll just show you. Like, look at these. I'm gonna put up this photo, but I want to show you the difference between a regular stack, like the ones we use on the channel, and these ones. There you go. That's 20 chips right there on the left. You can see. So these things were tiny compared to the actual chips that we're using now, which is hilarious. You can see the difference in the size. If you look on the left there, you can kind of see that it's like this really scratchy vinyl. So
yeah, I remember like rubbing the chip, like scratching it with the chip. Exactly that noise. Yeah,
I love that.
They also build up because of those like that texture on it. It would like hold dirt, right? Eventually, there'd be like dark spots of like whatever was in that.
Oh, they were gross. I'm
They're
sure I have
really
a couple
good
of
reminders to wash your hands.
Yeah. So, anyways, I guess my question for you, and I put it in the banners. When you guys deal, do you have a preference in any of the equipment that you deal on. So like the chips, the cards, the felt, and the shoe. I use this as an example because this was so hard to manage when you're dealing with roulette. Like the second series after this were the same. They were the same size. And I couldn't feel 20 because these chips kept messing me up. Because this 20 was way different than the roulette 20. So
I agree.
do you guys have, what are some things that you notice like when you're dealing that you have, like, you know, I don't want to say a pet peeve, but a preference?
I have some that come to mind. I have a couple things. So I know these were at Elbow. I'm sure there are other places, but Elbow, I don't know if their poker is different from the floor, the ones I'm talking about. They have these really heavy metal chips, like metal insert chips, and they're probably around a lot of places. But when they first came out there, they just fall so easily, right? Like they just fan out so easily. I hated working them. They were heavy, going from like light clay chips to those heavy metal chips. I mean, I was only playing poker, so it was fine. Like I'm like, if I had to deal with these, I would just hate it. And the other thing that you had as felt, so dealing poker, if you remember the Baccarat felts, those really sticky, not Baccarat the game, at Baccarat Casino, I think it was there. I think Palace had them too at one point. Those really sticky felts where you like pitch a card out and it just sticks exactly where it lands. I was like, how do you even? It was the worst.
I don't know if you remember this, Michelle. Okay, yeah, they had those sticky felts where it was horrible. You can't pitch on them. They just it's like Velcro when you're pitching them.
Yeah.
And they switched them over, and they switched them to like these super Teflon tables where you just lightly blow on thing and the card goes way off the air. Do you remember those?
I remember them not as much, but I remember them. Yeah.
There's this.
They didn't last long because they were
hard on the floor every second.
Horrible. It was just like, what the hell is this?
That was like there was like this one really old felt on a poker table, and I was like dealing on it, and so I got so used to pitching like really hard with my flicking it, and then the next day I didn't even notice that they changed it. The first card I flick, it just goes flying. I'm like, oh, oops. Like help.
The other one was, I think it was Yellowhead had those, I don't know what their tables are like now, but pretty big rectangle tables, and not those oval tables that most places have now, and betting line or commitment line, whatever you call it. There was no commitment line for most of I think all the years I dealt. And I'm short. I am one of those dealers who is like, push your chips up, push your chips up, push your chips up. And those rectangle tables were the worst. Those seat 3 and seat 8, like, forget it. Like, you just did not get their chips.
And yeah, I'm the opposite. I'm too tall. I'm just like, the tables hurt my back a lot, like when I'm there. And yeah, I'm always like trying to like slouch, and it's too tall.
I mean, I dealt poker like 8.5 months pregnant when I was 20, and I had been like, it started at 6 months where it's like, hey, look, I have this big stomach in my way. And so I got so fed up. I just would sit. I didn't even say anything anymore. And people were like, why aren't you dealing? I'm like, because I can't reach chips and I'm 6 months pregnant. Like, stop being a dick. So yeah, I ended up with a couple helpers for my last 3 months. There were some players that knew to help.
All right. Let me just hold on. Let me just show you this, because I just bought these and I'm going to use them for the channel, but I wanted to show you these cards.
Oh my gosh.
So, for people with bad eyesight like me, getting old. And they're 4 colors.
Green.
Yeah.
Can I see an 8?
Did you buy an Uno deck?
Yeah, that's what it felt like. Ocho. Or do you want to see the colored one here?
I don't know why it bothers me that there's like 2 pips on each.
Well, here's the thing. The only reason why I'm bringing this up is because I would have loved to just play with a 4-color deck. Like, I don't understand why this hasn't really been a thing here. I mean, online, I see it, obviously. Like when I play online, you have the option of having your traditional and your 4-color deck. But, I always misread flushes, right? So if I can misread a flush, especially when I get older and older and I sit on the table and I'm far away, if I'm like on seat 8, right, in the corner, especially when we're playing Omaha, it's like, how come we can't have a 4-color deck? Because I don't understand. Like, even as like a manager, it's like, when did we do this? And I find these decks and it's like, wow, this is really cool. Like this is a low vision bicycle deck and it's 4 colors. So it's like, it's nothing like crazy. I think it's something that's easily made, but I guess people are really stuck to the traditional style, right? So
I got an. I don't want to backtrack, but I got an answer to the Grand Villa question, the table games question. So they have table games open from 2 p.m. to 3 a.m. daily. Baccarat, blackjack, craps, ultimate Texas Hold'em, and roulette. Now I don't know if they all open at 2 p.m. daily, but that's the information.
I didn't hear something on that list that makes me sad.
yeah, me too.
Tiles.
Yeah.
Tiles, craps, poker.
No, I said craps. I said craps.
Oh, is there craps?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I just heard blackjack.
Yeah.
Alternate Texas Hold'em, baccarat, roulette. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we'll see when they recall everybody. See how many people they get. Right, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah. I do believe I know this person. Hello, Tim. Tim says, good evening. I left the industry 2005 as a games manager. Have you noticed that there doesn't seem to be the attention to detail and the strictness there was back in the day? I think this is more for you, Dani.
Yes.
Do you notice a huge difference?
Do we know where Tim's from?
I believe this is Tim from Grand Prairie.
Okay.
Who is also one of my crap students. Ho ho. Ho ho. And I do believe I lived in his trailer for a short period of time with this roommate who was such a dink. Can I tell you something that happened? And Tim, you can probably confirm this, but he washed half of my car one time, like straight down the middle. And I'm like, first off, why are you touching my car? I was like so mad. I don't know why I'm so mad at that. It's hilarious now, but I'm like, oh my God, like this is embarrassing. I'm driving in with like a half washed car. It was like, ugh. Anyways. I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking that's you, Tim. So yep, it is. So great.
I love that. That's actually a pretty good prank. That's good.
Yeah, please do that to your children when they first get their car. So I'm so sorry.
But I mean, also though, like to go back to his question, like I mean, I haven't really been in the industry for that long. I'm just basing my answers off of what you guys have said, about what it used to be like. But I mean, I don't know. I just feel like there's like the casinos are strict about smaller things than they are about like big deal things. Like if you deal like a little bit like fancy, you try something new, like I just don't feel like that's okay, even though if it's still like technically following procedure and like there's nothing like sketchy going on. It's just I find they just are confused, and maybe it's just because they've had some like bad apples in the industry, so now they're really strict about it. I just don't feel like the trust is there between like the employer and the employees. So that is what I find.
Yeah, I mean, even in our day, it would depend on who's supervising, right? Like on a day-to-day basis. If you're talking about, like some so at Palace, I don't remember Yellowhead. I think it was 50. Anyway, Palace, when I worked at Palace, the minimum cash change, chip change, whatever that you needed to check from a pit boss on was $25 the whole time I worked there. And there was many pit bosses like who were like, talk to me when it's 200. Like they don't care. But there was pit bosses who absolutely cared. And I know that's like not necessarily the stuff we're talking about, but it goes to other things too, right? Where
For sure.
like, but I think, you know, when you have a good pit boss or when things are going in the right direction, is that the rules are followed, it's strict, but people are smart enough to know which rules are worth bending, which is what's compromising the game and not compromising the game. Like enforcing a rule just because you want to be strict, you know, that's not going to get you anywhere. It's not going to get you any love from dealers. It's not going to, you know, get anyone to buy into anything that you're selling. So I think that's what's also important, is not just strictness or like rule following, but like integrity of the game and like, you know, providing entertainment and having that goal as the precursor to the things you're going to be strict about, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
concur.
Sorry, a couple of things before we go back, before I get your comments, Mike, about this. Just wanted to say, David says the Copag Magnum Index. I bought a set for my old folks game. I have these are the bicycle low vision, but I know the ones that you're talking about. Those are awesome too. Easier for me to miss a straight than a flush. I misread quads one time. It was the most embarrassing thing. I said, I have quads. And the guy's like, I have quads. How can we both have quads? Like, I don't have quads. It was so bad. I thought I was raising the hell out of this pot, and it was like a 4.8 Omaha with the kill on, and I didn't even check my hand, and that's the thing that killed me because, yeah, that's it.
So that wasn't looking at it and thinking you had quads, as you thought you knew what you had in your hand.
I thought I looked because I looked once.
Yeah.
Well, this is me like hardcore. I looked once because I didn't want to give any tells, and then I just started hammering it, and then I realized that I didn't have quads. It was so bad.
Yeah. Sometimes the betting action gives you pause, right? You're like, well, I thought I had quads, but it really seems like he has quads. Maybe I should look at my cards.
I drove home that night and my back was stuck against, you know, when you lose, I lose a lot. My back is like stuck against the back of the seat. And it's like, yeah, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. I just gave money away, which is funny. I'm sorry. Continuing on. We're almost done here, guys. Ladies and gent. Daryl says casino industry, you always had to deal to whatever standards of the pit boss that was standing behind you.
I learned that so fast in the industry. I can deal differently depending on who is behind me. And and then I also took that into now when I started becoming a pit boss, you know, I learn from other people's mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to follow with Tim's comment, Tim says, I feel there's a severe lack of procedure following. I was in recently and actually had to say something when I saw someone being trained on roulette. I don't know if you're talking about Grand Prairie or if you came here to the city, because I know you come down here too, Tim. I did say, I think it was a few episodes ago, because I was just there in Grand Prairie, and hey, look what I found, by the way. Look, Great Northern Casino. This is my
nice
travel thing that I found. Anyways, I went in there and it was so dead. Like there was only 3 tables going, so I don't know if it's busy there. So yeah, so you do say Grand Prairie. I didn't see a busy game there at all, so I have no idea. I didn't know who anybody was, and I really didn't know like what was going on there, if they had any action or if it was just a Monday night. I don't know. So, but yeah, I can't really comment on that. But if that's how it is, I think a lot of it has to do, especially in that area and like Fort McMurray, just a lot of, you know, people moving on. So it kind of gets watered down. Like the people training are just the people that you have left, and it happens quite a lot. So yeah, I mean, John left, and then look who ended up training. Somebody not as good as John, right? So that was the thing. Like I ended up training, and you know what, Michelle, like you're amazing, and Sterling's amazing, but there's people that didn't pass, right? And I kind of felt bad about that because it's like it's on me as a trainer. It's like, oh man, I couldn't get everybody to
that's bullshit. Point, right? And if they didn't pass, then you are a good trainer. Because a lot of trainers will just pass out. Like I dealt a poker class at Yellowhead. Man, they did not want me to fail people. And there was one guy, I was like, listen, he's a nice guy. He's never going to deal poker. Like, he's never. I think so. 2 weeks. I don't know if I've told this story on this cast before, but we're like 2 weeks into training. And, every once in a while, someone will get on the table and I'll kind of watch them to see where they're at and kind of see how they're doing. And so he deals out, 7 fake hands and then he just sits there. And I'm like, okay, what should you be doing next? And he's like, bet. And I'm like, what? No. He's like, raise. No. So like that's after 2 weeks, that was the level. And I admittedly, Jay did not have the same failure feeling as you did. I was like, this guy just can't do this.
Well,
that happens. That happens. Yeah. But I had, there's weaker and stronger for sure. The weak ones that are willing to put the work in, like I'll stay extra if you want to put the work in and be good enough to pass, right? Like I'll do that. So
Practice.
Yeah, so not every game's for everyone. What's that, Dani?
Practice at home.
Well, you can practice at home, but sometimes it depends on the game. Sometimes you do need like someone helping you, right? Like,
yeah, I understand that, but I mean, like, even just like I've seen people who have dealt the like poker for so long, and I see them pitching like this, and I'm just like, stop, okay, and I take them, and I'll like try to help them with this. I'm like, okay, now go home and just like sit and just like pitch on like your kitchen table or pitch anywhere. Practice, get that out of your head, and then they just never do, and eventually they
have to want to get better, right?
Exactly, right. That's a big issue that we talk about.
I want to see the guy you failed practicing at home, just sitting around the kitchen table.
Yeah, like that would serve him nothing.
Bet,
raise.
I mean, you're turning your head like you're following action. He did not even get to that point. So
okay, wow. Yeah. Too much credit. For Tim's point there, yeah, I think we've talked about it a little bit on this podcast and everything, and as far as lack of procedures have gone, I think it's coinciding with the skill that's been lost in the industry, right? So I think casinos are easing procedures a little bit, maybe in the wrong areas, and because of the skill level that's left now. Industry wide, right? And I don't think it's just Alberta, right? But that might have something to do with it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm done. I'm not gonna say any more about that. I think every episode we end up talking about it, and it's like more about what are we gonna do about this? What are we gonna do about this? It feels like the art's getting lost. It feels like everything is going to be computerized, and we're going to lose craps, and we're going to lose our poker games, and we won't have dealers, like live dealers, or when we do have live dealers, it's just going to be online and they're doing the work. And John always says it's the tactile feel of chips, and I love chips. Like I have too many chips here, and I love being on a poker table as a player. I love playing on the table, like doing chip tricks and dumb stuff like that. But that's not enough. There's people that don't, right? And there's germaphobes, and it's like, yeah, I don't have to worry about where these chips have been anymore. So I think there's like there's good and bad, and there's an evolution, and there's a change, and I have no idea which way it's going to go. Hopefully my wish is people like Heather and True Poker, so like Mark there with True Poker Dealer and CEG Dealer School, and all these people that are online, hopefully like the teachings that they give to everybody will kind of spread out towards not just like their area, but kind of international, so that we have people that actually care about the game itself, not people just coming in for like a paycheck, which really sucks, because that's not the dealers that we're looking for. I came in because of a dealer. Like I loved watching dealers deal, and it's like, wow, this is really cool. It's something that I want to do. it's like a chef, you know, when you see a chef make something really awesome and it tastes great. It's kind of like that for me. It's like seeing somebody do this. It's like, wow, that's like an art. Seeing this person deal blackjack, it's like, I didn't think it could be really cool. And to me, it's cool. And I keep back, and we had an episode. It's like, well, is this cool anymore? Right. So it's really hard to see what happens. So, oh, here. Tim also has a Vegas thing before we say our shout outs here. I got to Vegas for the first time a few months ago and was disappointed with how many places don't have poker rooms anymore. Danny, did you see that? Did you passing through? Did you see a lot of poker other than the World Series, obviously? But
Then no, I only walked in around and I saw the World Series of Poker, like one of their main rooms. And it was huge, but no, I didn't see any poker rooms.
yeah, I think Michelle, you can relate. I am a limit player. Mike too. I think Mike, you're a really good 3-6 player, 4-8 player. So I used to love to go to Mirage.
We went to Mirage all the time.
Yeah.
Our time was split between Mirage and Bellagio. Like I would never stay at Bellagio because I hate paying for hotel rooms in Vegas. But but yeah, stay somewhere central, like in that area, play Mirage, play Bellagio. We did end up playing a little bit at Venetian one year, one of our later trips, and it was okay. But yeah, I love the Mirage room. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gone. And yeah, I mean, a lot of it has to do with the evolution of the game too, because it's more of like tournament play and no limit. So you're going to have mostly that. No variety games either. I didn't really see. It was mostly Hold'em, and that's kind of all there was. And it's not my cup of tea anymore. So, all right. Anyways, let's just leave that there. Let's pick it up the next episode. We have a lot to talk about. We have a few episodes. Next week, we actually have a guest, and he's from the ships. I don't have the schedule put up, but we have guests for the next 3 weeks, which is really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we're going to mix up our cast a little bit. I'm hoping I can get next week off, which would be nice because I've been on every single episode, which is bad. I'm so tired. Yeah, everyone's tired of hearing my voice. So I just wanted to bring one thing up before we go through shout outs. September 17th, Casino Industry Canada get together. Hooray! Save the date. Oh, I'm so excited about this. We have some events lined up. I've been talking with people and been getting sponsors. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a nice dinner. We're going to have some entertainment, and then we're going to have a dance. So a lot of giveaways and things like that. I'm hoping.
I have something for a giveaway.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Give it away.
I will.
Give it away now. All right.
Give it away now.
Okay. Let's do. Oh, sorry. Let me just hit Joey here. Years ago, dealers wore shirts, waistcoats, and dark trousers and whatnot. Past couple of years, they're wearing more polo shirts and logo tops, but still have a dress code for customers. True. Our outfit was really cool when we started. It was a nice tux vest with the bow tie, and then pit bosses would just put a jacket over, which was really cool. Now
And
it's just like
tuxedo pants. What a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah.
No comment.
Like they were sharp, but what a pain in the butt to maintain that uniform as a dealer.
Yeah. Yep. So it's been there has been a change, and I mean it's button up. Well, I don't know. How can you describe it, Dani?
The outfits?
Your shirt. It's like a button up uniform. I really have a hard time explaining what it looks like because it's got like the strip that covers the buttons and
yeah, so it's like navy blue and it's quite thin, and then it has red racing stripes down the middle.
Racing stripes when you're sprinting through the casino.
It does. It has like two like red stripes just going right down the center. Racing stripes.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then you can wear like any sort of black pant you want. But right now during Stampede, you can wear jeans every day. And as a pit boss, you can wear anything cowboy-y. And that includes not having to wear like a jacket. Like you can wear like a plaid, like short-sleeved button-up. Yeah, it's really. I like walked into like High Limit. I was like, "What are you guys wearing?" Like, I just came back and I forgot it was Stampede. I was like, what happened to this place?" I was so confused. And then I remembered people are actually they're supporting Calgary Stampede. So
Yeah.
why you do it? You have that
Good uniform.
stand by.
All right, let's go through some shout outs here. We're a few minutes over, so who do you want to say hi to, Danny?
I don't know. I guess I'll shout out to all of the Albertans playing in WSOP this year. Good luck. Take some bracelets home. Get it.
Yay. That's true. Yep. Michelle.
A standard nice shout outs to the people who join us in the comments. It's always fun to have you guys to interact with, and especially Daryl, who's here every time I'm here and more. So
Yeah, Daryl has his own reserve seating for this, so
Yeah. Everybody in the comments, you guys especially, right? Jay, you too. Without you, nothing happens. Daryl does have a coupon in the mail for a haircut, so we'll send it to him.
The bald headed brigade.
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. All right. I just want to thank everybody. We've been getting a lot of downloads on the podcast, which is really cool. I didn't realize how many people like listening to the show. So thank you for all you people on Spotify and iTunes that are downloading it. I see I see the downloads and it's really cool. I didn't know how exciting we could be as a cast, and I'm just happy that we're all kind of together and we're still doing this. I really love the fact that we're still on our third season, and I love people still want to come in and be the guests. So everybody that's kind of come in and volunteered and volunteered their time and wanted to be a part of the show, I mean, we couldn't do this without you, definitely. So all of us in the cast, Pippa and John as well, we just really want to thank you for everything that you've been doing and just the support. It's just been amazing. I'm just flabbergasted. I'm just so happy. And it's so cool for me because like I get to hang out with the three of you and we always talk about, I didn't realize how much time we could spend talking about casino stuff. So yeah. And thank you, Vince.
Thanks,
So
Vince.
Vince coming in this third season is really cool. So totally appreciate it. And Daryl also says Mike wants to play. I think you're out of your league, Mike.
Yeah, well, I can spell and I can type properly too. So
all right. Okay.
See you
until
next week, Daryl.
Yeah. Until next week, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you again.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye bye.